Blackburn the other night. Were you left feeling like you should have come away with all 3 points now?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed, I must say. Disappointed in myself as well, really. I thought I should have probably put Roberts on as well during the end of that game. But it's all right in when you look back on it, isn't it, in hindsight. I think in hindsight, you probably took a point and not risk it. But I thought I should have probably been a bit more, But I never thought about it at the time till after, if I'm honest.
Was it good to see Ainsley Pears and a Boro legend in Tony Mowbray down at Ewood Park?
Not really, no.
Fair enough.
I'm not bothered who were there.
Dale Fry came straight back into the side after an illness, and he looked like he'd never been nowhere, really, didn't he?
Yeah, he's playing really, really well. As I think as I've said to young Woody, the lads at the back are playing as well as I've ever seen them. So he's just got to, it's nice for him to know that anything there and he can get, he can fit straight back in. But Dale's, top of his game at the moment. Apart from, I think he can brush up on goal scoring now. I don't think he's scored in the league yet, and he's got to change that with the quality of ball that's coming in.
Did you think he put that one in at the far post the other night?
Well, he should have done. He should have scored a couple actually. But we've just been talking about it this week. He held his hand up and said that to me after the game. He's got to be a little bit more determined, like he does on the halfway line when he's defending. He's got to be a bit more determined in their box as well now.
As you know, before you came in last season, Boro were very leaky. I think the stat is at the moment is that you've only conceded 1 goal from open play so far this season. What have you changed?
Not a lot. None of the personnel have changed really. I'm 1 or 2 new faces in, I suppose, but whoever's come in, they've done a really good job. I think it's all a matter of confidence and bringing the best out of players that probably last season weren't really playing at the full potential.
Can you put any of that down to the team spirit? Because from the outside looking in, it looks like one of the tightest groups we've seen here in years.
Yeah, I think you look at the defence and say that they've done well, but the defending comes from the front. Britt Assombalonga and Tuba, they're been isolated at times, and the work that they do means that they don't have an easy time, the back lads. So your first line of defence are your centre forwards, and we've worked well as a team in that respect.
It seems like teams are really not enjoying coming up against you at the moment. Do you think your players kind of revel in that, knowing that they're going to go into every game and give the opposition a tough afternoon or evening?
Well, I don't know about the players. I revel in that. I don't like anybody having an easy game against my teams. So I'm probably near the top of the league in that respect when you look at managers you don't want to play against. I'm not saying that we're very, very good, but I don't think you want to play against us. So... I've always taken pride in that, really.
One person that's been spoken about on a number of occasions recently, Duncan Watmore, no secret that he's training with you. Are you any closer to bringing him in?
Not really. I think, I'm just hoping that we can do something on that line, by the end, after the international break.
While we're on the subject of the international break, it's a fantastic run you're on at the moment. Is it coming at the wrong time for you?
No, not really. The right time. I'm cream crackered at the moment, so we need a little bit of a break. I feel sorry for the Irish lads, but they've got a right carrot to try and get through to the Euro. So that first game, I do wish them the best in that. But other than that, I think there's only young Woody going away, and so it'll be good for the lads to recharge the batteries. It's put a lot of work in this last couple of months.
Do you worry about Paddy McNair and George Saville? Because, as you say, it's been hectic to say the least in recent weeks, and then they're going to go away and play 3 games in the space of, 2 weeks?
No, in 7 days. Not yeah. Far off 7 days, really. It's listen, you do that. I mean, I'm sure Ian Barraclough's worried about them when they're playing for us. They're such important players, and I think it's true to say, I don't think Saville mind me saying, I don't think he's ever played better for the club than he has done the last few weeks. He was a bit disappointing last year when I came, and I think he's really improved, in the pre-season and had a good start to the season.
Obviously, Brentford up next. You've had plenty of battles over the years, as have the Boro down at Griffin Park. Are you looking forward to going to a new stadium?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm looking forward to seeing how we cope because they're joint top goal scorers, and they're free flowing, aren't they? Tony's got 10 goals. I think that's more than we've scored into it. Ivan Tony. So. Having said that, they did pay 10 million for him, so you've got to put things in perspective, really. So it's one of those that I am really looking forward to going there because they're going to attack you at every opportunity, and it will show us the weaknesses that we have if there are any.
Yeah, what do you make of the model down at Brentford? Because it's something that's talked about across football, really, in that they kind of sign the unknown players or players from lower down the leagues and then sell them on for a profit, and it seems to work relatively well.
Yeah, it does. The problem is everybody thinks that's the answer, and it's not the answer, really. I'm not a sure stats man. We have a number of stats recruitment people here. But, I think at times, for example, they have signed good players and sold on. But Ivan Toney was at Peterborough, so I don't think that was found on stats. And they paid 10 million for him, So it's, I think if it's going well, you've got to ask yourself, have they ever been promoted yet, Brentford? For all the stats, I've never seen them in Premier League. So it depends what you want to follow. Yeah,
Ivan Toney, you've touched upon him there. Do you expect a tough afternoon in terms of his movement and his goal-scoring ability?
All the front three are really mobile and very quick, and I am looking forward to it. The battle, more so than the other night. I think Blackburn, no disrespect to them, but your Brentford and top, the top, I think top forward line and one of the favourites to go up. Really, it's I think in a new stadium. I think it promises to be a great afternoon. I think.
Is this the toughest game so far, would you say?
Every game's tough. I think the next one's always the toughest when you look back. But I think we've coped with everything that's been thrown at us. I think the next two games now, Brentford and then Norwich. There's probably only Swansea that we've not seen then from the top group. So really looking forward to these games, me.
Just finally, obviously Sam Morsey missed out the other night. You mentioned a bit of a hamstring issue, and Grant Hall's working his way back. Are they any closer to being involved?
No, Grant won't be involved. He is fit now. He's going to have 2 weeks starting. I think starting today, he's having 2 weeks pre-season now, and then we've got Morsey, who I don't know yet. When we train this afternoon, we'll have a look at him. You know what he's like. He told me he were all right yesterday. But he never told me when he did it. I had to look at him feeling his hamstring before I realised what he'd done. So he's one of them lads I'm going to have to just be careful of, We want to make sure he's fit after that international break.
Well, good luck, Neil. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nick.
Look north or Simon?
Hi, Neil.
Which one?
Sorry, Simon, do you want to go first?
Oh, it's all right. Sorry, yeah. Hi, Neil. Just a couple from me today. We touched on the defensive record. How confident is the goalkeeper and the defensive unit at the moment? Because they've just been, an immovable object, really.
Well, I think it's important. I had a chat with Marcus the other day because it's a very difficult job for a goalie when you don't have a lot to do. The concentration levels have to be spot on, and you have to be ready that it might be the last minute. The other day I thought he came and took a really good cross late on, which took the pressure off us, and a couple of blocks. So his talking is very, very good. I've really been impressed with his talking, and the lads at the back are responding. You forget how old they are. It's a group of kids really, apart from Johnny Howson. So it's they've got a lot to learn. I think I think they can get to another level as well. So it's a pleasing start, but I don't get carried away. We've had some good results, but I think Brentford and Norwich will really tell us again, two more top sides, goal scoring wise. It'll just show up any weaknesses that we have, I'm sure.
You said everyone needs the break. I'm sure we can all understand that, but how much better will that break feel if you go into it with another good performance and another good result?
Yeah, it's always nice. If we can keep our unbeaten run going, I'd be delighted. We said at this, about 4 or 5 games ago, let's just tick on, and you don't get too carried away if we have a couple of bad performances, because you're going to get that in the Championship. But the lads have been pretty consistent, really. Just that little bit of quality lacking, probably from wide areas. We played I think really full backs and wing backs in the wide roles. Possibly we haven't got enough goals in that area. But I'm looking at it. There's people we haven't tried yet, like Brownie and Roberts, who got to come into our thinking at some stage.
That's good for me today. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you. Look north. He's there.
Hi, Neil. Hi, Neil.
Gotcha.
You're all right.
Yeah.
Just regarding the Blackburn game, in terms of the chances you did create, you must be thinking with just a tiny bit more cutting edge, who knows what you could be achieving?
Yeah, you think that in games like that. But as I said at half-time to the lads, don't get carried away. They're going to defend a lot because I thought we were dominant. But if we can't get that breakthrough, let's come away with a 0-0 draw. And that's what I was pleased with at the end. I think there was only one nerve-wracking moment where they had a great cross across the goal line. Nobody could tap it in. Apart from that, I thought we were quite comfortable, and just that little bit of know-how in the box, really.
You mentioned you're looking forward to the challenge of pitting your very tight defence against a very mobile attack. In terms of Brentford bringing in Tony and then Watkins going up a level, is it hard to know those strikers who can find the net in one division, whether they're going to be able to kind of translate that in the next division up?
Well, it's always a gamble, isn't it? I mean, I tried to get Cardiff to sign Watkins at Exeter City, but they thought 2 million was a bit too much at that time, and he went for 3 and now 30 into it, whatever it is. So it's just one of those things as managers. I'm always looking at the lower levels, and I always thought that Watkins would be a striker, even though Exeter played him sort of as a wider left lad. So it's I think I rang Mehmet up a couple of weeks ago and said, just remind Vincent, will you, when he went for 30 million, that we couldn't have him for 2.
In terms of January is fast looming, and you have been linked once again with Balassi and Krasicki, players who perhaps are out of favour at their Premier League clubs. I mean, are those the sort of players realistically that you might be able to sort of entice in January?
Absolutely, I'd have those 2 tomorrow, yeah, and a few others.
But that sort of standard of player, perhaps who aren't going to get the game time at their clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're the type that I think would benefit from coming with us. Yeah.
And in terms of your current league position, do you think achieving a little bit higher than you thought you would?
Well, with the way we've played, I think we should be higher. If I'm honest, the way we've played, I think we should be second. But what with decisions and everything, and then not having much rub of the green, we are where we are, and it's a pleasing position. If you said that at the start of the season, but the hard part now is to get the consistency that we've got at the moment and continue that when we've had a couple of bad results, because we will, no doubt we will get a couple of bad results, and it's how we react to that, really.
And whereas fans might be daunted by it, you seem to be sort of relishing the challenge of Brentford and Norwich as a real way of finding out just exactly where you are. Oh,
definitely. I mean, Brentford, I've always had some great battles with them, playoff semi-finals and things like that. So it's always a special place. In a way, I'm disappointed not to be going in that mucky, scruffy, pokey changing room that they've always had. But my kind of changing room, that reminded me of the Sunday League days.
And you'd be ticking off another new stadium, but there can't be too many on your list that you haven't been to, no?
No, I don't know. I mean, I've never had time to really have a look at who I've not been to. I don't think I've been to Salford. But apart from, I don't think there's many I've not been to in my career, really. But it promises to be, I'm looking forward to, because they are a really good team, probably got the best left back in the league in Henry, and some of the play that they've got, so a good test for all our departments, really.